We spend 5 minutes to create this, but you can simply do that with a click of a button. And for that, all you need to do is just add a torus and then come here and click on this portal button, and it does exactly the same thing. Hi, I'm gonna teach you how to create this portal looking effect in the next 5 minutes. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So in order to create a portal, you are going to need a torus, and we're gonna do a right click, shade smooth. I'm gonna do RX 90 just so that it's facing towards me, and then I'm going to do SZ just to make it optical. We can quickly move on to the shading tab, and here we're gonna click new, and we're going to delete the principal BSDF, and we're gonna do a right click and add principal volume. And I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna plug this into the volume. We're going to need our texture coordinate. I'm going to take the object and add it to a mapping node, and then I'm going to take the vector and add it to a noise texture, and we will also change this to 4D and animate the W parameter of this. So we're going to do frame divided by 125. Let's add a noise of 1.5. I'm going to increase the detail to 10 and keep the roughness somewhere around 0.65. After that, we're going to add a color ramp, and then I'm going to add a math node, and we're going to change this to multiply, and this will basically control my density of this object. So let's increase the density all the way to 13. Now, if you remember, the portal was also glowing. So in order to make this glowing, I'm gonna change the emission strength to about 2, but the portal was glowing pink. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to RGB. I'm going to add a value here of 0.6. I will also change this to 0.3, and let's move this to 1, or maybe 0.7. Let's see. Yeah, we are going to go to emission and use the same color right there. Okay, it's not looking anything like a portal, so I'm gonna change this and pronounce it to 0.15, and I'm gonna change this. Let's bring this a little bit here, and as soon as I do that, can you see the portal is now splitting apart, and now you can see that portal effect coming into play. Still looks really dark for me, so maybe, oh sorry, I've increased the black body intensity instead of emission, and that was my fault. But here we go. Now my portal is glowing, and I can also play with these values. I added a mix shader. Let's go to mix shader, and I'm gonna add a transparent BSDF. So we're going to duplicate the color ramp, and we're going to take the factor and take the color and plug it into the factor here. And you can tweak the value of the color ramp just to get the desired output. Yeah, so you can play with this if you want. All right, let's add the particle settings now. So we're going to click on the object, click on this plus icon here. There's a bunch of particles that are popping up. So I added around 20,000 particles. The frame start, I kept it at -30 because I wanted the particles to already show up when our simulation starts, and frame end was 250, lifetime was 150. I kept the randomness all the way up to 1. I'm going to keep this as it is. For velocity, we'll do 0, and for rotation, I'm going to check on that, and I will click on dynamic and click on 0.1 for random rotation. We're going to come to field weights and make the gravity 0. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to add a force field and add a turbulence force field here, and for the settings of it, I'm going to keep this at 2, flow would be 1, and noise would be 2. And if I play this now, something like this is happening. So I'm going to do a shift A and add an icosphere. We're going to go to the modifier tab and add a decimate modifier, and we're going to keep it at 0. Now let's duplicate this and change this to 0.05, and then duplicate it again, and then we're going to change this to 0.15. So we've got 3 different types of particles now. So I'm going to select all of them, click M to bring in the collection option, and then add a new collection, and we're going to name it particles. Now we'll go back to our original object, and let's go to the render. Let's change it to collections. Let's add the scale randomness all the way up to 1, and then select the particle collection that we just made. We're going to click pick random just to make sure it's picking random options from all the 3 particles that we have created. And in addition to that, I'm going to reduce the scale to 0.01. If I go to the render settings now, the particles are all going to either disappear or not show up that great, right? And that's because we also added another emission like material on the particles too. So I'm going to select one of these particles and I'm going to hit plus for the material, and then we are going to create a new material. Let's name it particles. Let's give it a similar color, so it would be 0.7, 0.3, and this would be 0.9. It's a somewhat similar color. I'm gonna make metallic all the way up to 1, and roughness would be 0.1. Now we'll go to emission. We're gonna give emission the same color as this, and then we are going to increase the strength to 2. Now the particles are glowing and we are able to see the particles over here. Now, even though it looks good, in addition to this, what we can do is come here and add volumetrics to entire thing. And for that, there's already an add-on that I've created. It's available for free on Gumroad. The links down in the description, but again, you can just create your own if you want to. And I'm gonna add something like an ocean mist here. I think the last thing that I want to tell you about is the camera, because camera makes it look 10 times better. So I'm going to position my camera all the way into the center. Okay, and the depth of field. So we're going to add this, and then we're going to reduce the f-stop all the way to 0 just to see where the focus is. And then let's try to focus on our portal, and we're going to increase this a little bit because that was too much. You can also just simply add an image in between, and that becomes the portal. There's one more thing that I want to show you is that we spent 5 minutes to create this, but you can simply do that with a click of a button. And for that, all you need to do is just add a torus and then come here and click on this portal button, and it does exactly the same thing. Let me separate this out a little bit so that you see it better. But this thing exactly does that in a click of a button. And more presets like this are something that I'm creating right now. It should be available on my Patreon by tomorrow for at least these few presets. You can download it from there. Also, you can find this file that I just created on Patreon. But that's about it. If you like the video, please drop a like. It helps me out a lot. I'm gonna see you in the next one.